Hey guys, don't mind me. I'm just still getting the hang of this Sony A7 IV. Sometimes it's hard to believe that I even am in the presence of this camera. Hey guys, how are you? I'm Maurice, and if you're watching this, if you're new to the channel, first of all, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you stick around and you like and subscribe and check out some of my other videos. But in this video, batteries is the topic at hand with the A7 IV. We all know that with these Sony cameras, or as I've found out, amazing cameras, except for the old battery life. I know people do say, well, the batteries have gotten better, and you know, the older Sonys, the batteries were worse, and I believe it. Yes, you know, batteries are always an issue. You always want to have extra batteries, whether you're shooting on a GoPro or whether you're shooting on a point and shoot or on a DSLR. Like, you always want to have extra batteries. Really, when you're shooting videos like this, the best thing to do is to have one of those dummy batteries, which is like basically like a battery like this that you that's connected to a cable, and it's connected to a power outlet, a power hub that you can, you know, run through the through an outlet instead of using batteries. But as you can see, this is like a dummy battery for this Sony, but this is not running to well, it kind of is, but it's actually running to this guy right here. And I talked about this in one of my last videos where I talked about all the stuff that I have in my camera bag. This is the Sony multi-battery adapter, the NPA MQZ1. This camera goes through batteries very quickly, especially if you're shooting like hybrid, like if you're shooting video clips and photos, it will eat through the battery. So my coworker actually kind of campaigned for us to buy this battery grip for it, and we found this one made by Vello. This is the BGS7. And the nice thing about this is not only can you put two batteries in there, which is really nice. They snap right in there. So now you're doubling your battery life, the amount of time you can record video and shoot. So those two batteries lock in there. I have my Manfrotto plate under here. It has a nice grip to it. It has a really nice, feels good in the hand. I mean, I have big, long fingers, so this feels really comfortable. And what you need to do is remove the door from the A7 IV, which is not difficult. It pops right out. You just got to be very careful, and then you definitely have to store this in a safe place. You don't want to lose the door. Yes, you don't want to lose the door. And then this guy basically just slides right in. It snaps. There's a little bit of a spring action. It goes right there, and then you just start tightening it up. And you want to make sure it's nice and tight. You want to make sure there's no gap in there, so it's making a good contact. And usually it doesn't tighten anymore when you know. That's when you know it's good. And the great thing about this now is that it has controls right on the grip. So this same dial is right here. These buttons are these buttons over here. And then even on the top, you have your custom buttons, your C2 and your C1, and your shutter lock switch as well. And then you have your dial up here and your dial back here. So if you're shooting vertical, this is really good. Even if you're shooting vertical video, I'll just literally like hold it down like this and, you know, hold it down like that. And now I can shoot vertical video, and I have controls right here, and it's the same as basically holding it like this. So you get the same experience just vertically, and it kind of gives the camera, so like when you're holding it like this, the body is so light and the lens is so heavy that it's a little imbalanced. It gives the camera a better grip, like right there, right off the bat. I mean, two batteries in there, it equals the weight. Like, I think it's properly balanced there. I feel like it's better balanced, more balanced, better balanced, properly balanced. And that makes things a lot more, you know, comfortable when you're out shooting, or if I'm doing video, I'll have the screen out, because that's another thing. Never use the screen like this when you're shooting. Like, make sure that screen is out and open and articulated, because the camera does heat up. So it does get very warm to the touch. So you want to minimize heat. So when you're holding it like this, now I feel there's a lot more it's a lot more balanced. Let's just put it that way. Here's the thing about A7 IV or Sony, I guess in general. You buy the camera and this is all they give you. A USB-C cable to charge the camera and charge the battery. Like there's no battery charger. So we ended up buying like a cheap battery charger, and that thing, I guess for emergencies it works great, but it takes forever to charge. And I was a little worried, so I actually reached out to a friend of mine who's a photographer who switched over to Sony system and does weddings, and he just said, you want to get everything Sony. Like don't go with the third-party batteries, don't go with the third-party chargers. Just do yourself a favor, you know, pay the extra money and get everything Sony. So we did that, and that is why we purchased this guy. It is amazing because this thing came with 2 batteries, and then obviously we went out and bought 2 more batteries. We just wanted to make sure we had enough batteries, and you can never have too many batteries. So this thing is amazing because it itself has 2 ways of charging. It has a DC out, DC in, I mean, where you can charge it to the wall right there. And I usually have that plug right on my desk. So when I get to the office, I can just plug it in and charge this bad boy up. You could also charge it with micro USB right there at 5 volts. So it's, you know, it's a little slower, but worst case scenario, you could always charge there. And then these batteries just snap right in, just like that. They, you know, they snap right in. If you want to release them, there's a little release button right here where you go like that and they pop right out. But all 4 batteries snap right in, just like that. And there you go. And now this guy, it's a meaty brick. And when you use this thing to connect it inside the battery, inside the camera, I mean, it treats this as one solid battery. It treats this as one, all 4 of these as one, which is nice. Now let's take a look at this little thing up here. If you set it to charge, and these 2 you set it to camera, then if you set these 2 to camera and this one to DC out, now this guy will power the camera. You put it to charge, now you can hit this little battery check button and you can see, ooh, this battery's dead. This one has 1 bar. These 2 are full. So these 2 are full right here, and these need to be charged. So that little battery check is amazing. The other thing that's really cool is now on this side, this thing right here has 2 USBs. So you can charge your phone right there. You could actually charge 2 phones on this, you know, or your iPad or whatever, and you get 2 USBs on there, which is nice. You just got to make sure you set this thing to DC out. So you're not charging, you're now letting the power flow out. And then the great thing, it has these threads, tripod threads up on here, which is nice, so that you can actually put a mounting plate on here, snap this into the tripod, have another mounting plate here, and then and mount your camera onto here, which is really, really convenient. There's so many ways I could imagine you can mount this thing. So this thing I can just put right in here. Oh, this way. I can put this right in there, set this thing to DC out, and now it's powering my camera, as you can see. Another cool little feature is that, well, let's say you're like, okay, well, this is great if you have the full frame Sony camera. Okay, but what about if I have a APS-C camera that uses the smaller batteries? Well, here's the cool thing about this. Really magic trick time. There's a little button on the back. You hit this little button and guess what? Bam! There you go. There's the smaller battery. There you go. This little housing comes off and now the battery is smaller and you can use it on that. So it's very versatile. This is really convenient because this is in my camera bag at all times, as I showed you in the last video, which I'll link over there. This is a really great investment, especially if you're in the Sony system, if you plan on sticking around with Sony. Now, I'm not against getting, you know, third-party batteries or third-party chargers. I'm not against it. I have third-party batteries for my other cameras and third-party chargers, but we wanted to kind of like do the right thing with this and get everything that's like, we wanted to get the best so that we don't have to worry. We don't lose sleep at night over this system, because again, this is the system, this is the kit that I use for work predominantly. Again, I'll link this guy below. It's not cheap, but I think it's a good investment if you're very paranoid about batteries and you're very paranoid about losing power or losing juice, because at the end of the day, especially like if you're out at a shoot and I mean, granted, you could mount some kind of thing on here with these bolts and like maybe even have like a belt clip on it. So have the camera. I mean, yeah, I think that'll definitely work like that too. Here, like I'll show you. Like, let's say this is on here. This guy, you can have it like the old days. I mean, I remember the old days shooting weddings. I remember I was the light guy. I was like literally like with a pole like this, with the flash on it and a cable running to a battery pack on my waist, and just being the remote flash for the main photographer. That was good old days of wedding photography. But this thing, I mean, you could probably adapt a metal plate on here with a clip, put that on your belt, and you can be shooting all day with this thing. If you're interested in a grip like this is the Vello 2 battery vertical grip. Really great investment as well. If you don't want to go full force with this, this has worked fine for me. Having 2 batteries in here is great. I sometimes forget to charge the batteries, and I'll have like back-to-back shoots on multiple days, and I look at the battery indicator, and it saved me many times. This thing has saved me. And I don't think I've said batteries enough in this video. So batteries, guys, batteries. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, if this was helpful to you, I'll link everything below, but please like and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos. If you're interested in the other things that are in my camera bag, I did a video on that. I'll link it right here so that you can see the camera bag that I'm actually using for work, where I keep all this stuff. And it's been really great on my back, because the last camera that I had was a Nikon DSLR, and the last camera bag I had was a monster. And as you'll see in that video, this is what I'm using now is a lot better. So let me know if you guys have this camera, because I'd love to get your input as far as this camera. What solutions do you have for batteries or for battery charging? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.